All right, good evening, everybody. Justin and Alicia here in the Justin and Alicia Show.
Good evening.
Coming here a little more casual here tonight. We just wanted to go and fit this thing in. Didn't have time to kind of get cleaned up. It's been a busy day. It's been one of those weeks. That's what I want to talk about. I'm sure you've never had one of those weeks, but it's one of those weeks where your whole life and schedule gets disrupted. Hey, Christopher. Good to see you here tonight. So yeah, what do you do when your whole life and schedule is disrupted? Alicia, you want to kind of give a little backdrop what we're talking about here?
Everything from starting the week off in front of the toilet, puking your guts out, to that just kind of derailed my week, to be totally honest.
Yeah, we have 4 kids, of course, and most of them had it. At least one of them did.
Well, me and Joanna skipped it.
Yeah, well, I definitely got it. It knocked me out. You know, Monday is usually an important day for me as I have a staff meeting and kind of set the pace for the week. And I called it off and took Monday recovering after a very rough Sunday night, catching a bug. But, so that really kind of, Monday a lot of times sets the tone for the rest of the week. And so that just kind of threw us off. And then after that, the kids were hit and miss. They were getting better. Libby, and not Libby, but Emma, she still is kind of, she's good, she's off.
Baby, they can't tell you anything, so. I felt completely off my game all week. Couldn't work out, just like poo-hooey with it all. So anyway, I was kind of struggling. But there was something that really encouraged me that Justin posted this morning. So that's what we decided to kind of talk about tonight, is what happens. Because this is life.
Yeah, it's life.
And I told Justin even tonight, I get frustrated because I feel like, a lot of the people that I look up to and that I would consider mentors. In fact, I was just listening to somebody again the other day, and he was talking about this is, once he builds a habit, this is it, and he doesn't stray from it. Mm-hmm. And it's frustrating to me because I feel like, I kind of get in my routine and then life happens. And as a mom, for me right now, I feel like there is some give and take. And yes, I can, do what I can. I mean, there's definitely times where you have to, just focus and do it whether it works or not. But I don't know, more often than not right now, I'm needing some flexibility and just extra snuggles with the baby and cancel other things and clean the house and do a whole bunch more laundry than I normally do. Things like that. And so, anyway. Yeah,
but what about if you totally don't do your schedule?
Right.
The vital 7 things you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
You don't have time to work out, or you're up all night so to sleep in.
Exactly.
Then that totally derails what you're supposed to do the next,
Well, and I knew if I got too off my, if I'm not sleeping at night, then, and I can't really sleep during the day, then I'm going to get this, and so, yeah. So you just.
And so, it's one of those things. So I did come across a quote that I posted on Facebook, so if you follow me, you've probably seen it, but, and I'm going to read it here. It said, what happens when you don't feel like you can, catch up, basically. You're out of time. Well, start by just doing something. And so I'm going to read it here. Start by doing 1 push-up. Start by drinking 1 cup of water. Start by paying towards 1 debt. Start by reading 1 page. Mm-hmm. Start by making 1 sale. Or start by deleting 1 old contact. Start by walking just 1 lap. Start by attending just 1 event. Start by writing 1 paragraph. And just start today and repeat tomorrow. I mean, think about that. All of us can do that. We can all do 1 thing of something. It doesn't take that long. It's just a matter of just doing it. And that was something that, honestly, for me too, was very I can do that. Otherwise, if you have this routine down, you're doing, and you don't able to do that routine completely, you're out of time, or whatever, you don't feel up to it, you're sick. Then I have a tendency to be totally down on myself.
And not going to do any of it.
Yeah, if I can't do the full routine, then I'm not going to do any of it. And then it's a vicious viral circle spiraling down until next thing you know, you're this depressed mess. Mm-hmm. And then, the lower you go, the deeper you sink down into something, the harder it is to pull back up and get started again.
And I think the opposite is true. As you do the 1 thing, it kind of encourages you to just keep going. Do 1 more thing.
Yeah.
And 1 more thing.
And so do 1 thing. And so, Amy Granger, good to see you here tonight. She says,
right.
one room at a time.
Yep.
And, because, maybe you're discouraged about tons of debt. Focus on 1 card, or just making 1 extra payment. And start doing that consistently. And before you know it, you're going to be amazed at where you get. Mm-hmm. Or maybe, you don't have time to do a full workout. Then do 1 push-up, 1 pull-up, or just go for a walk around the room, or you you need to start drinking more water. You don't have the special water bottle you need, or you're not all set up. That's one of my worst things. I'm like, unless I'm set up properly, I just feel like I just can't do it. I mean, it's just a mental thing I got to get over. But unless I have the right equipment, basically, for some reason I feel like that I can't. And so that's something that's just, how do you break that mentality? Is you just do it anyway. And one of the biggest things I've been learning here recently is the fact that if you wait for the perfect moment,
Right.
if you wait for the perfect feelings. Hey, Catherine, good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing well. And Mary Wood, good to see you tonight. But if you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect feelings, then it's very rare you're going to do anything, or it's very rare you're going to get started. And so, real life is just doing it anyway.
Exactly.
Doing it anyway, as much as you can, even if it's just one. I mean, just do one. As long as you do it one consistently, guess what? And by the end of the year, you're going to have done 365. I mean, that's something.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
Exactly.
And in fact, I had another little insightful moment here this last week. I think it will be before, sometime here recently. That I was thinking about. Someone challenged me to try to see if there's a way I could save 1 hour of every day. And I was mainly focusing on this whole idea and with like a work week, your work week. So 5 days a week is typical work week. And so just think about it at work. And for example, if you could find a way of saving just 1 hour, being a little more efficient, staying off social media a little bit, less, it's amazing how you can waste an hour. And I would challenge you to start, for just your own sake, start tracking your times. Take one day, track your time. Get a page and track it every 30 minutes, starting at 5 in the morning to 10 at night. And just for kicks, and just see, be honest, and just write what you actually do. And just see, what you do during a day, during, whatever amount of time you're awake or during that period. And I'll bet you'll find when you do that, that there's a way that you could consolidate a few things, that you could cut some things down a little bit, say 15 minutes here and there, like 4 times throughout the day to save 1 hour. So what happens if you save 1 hour, say just in a work week? Okay, it's 5 days. So that's 5 hours a week. Well, there's 52 weeks in a year, so what is 5 times 52? That's 260 hours in a year, okay? So 260 hours, you divide that by 40 week, 40, which would be a 40-hour work week. That gets you to 6.5. You'd actually gain almost 6.5 weeks of extra time in a year.
And think about what you could do in that amount of time.
Yeah, and what can you do in 6 weeks?
We could buy that.
Think about if you wanted to, you saved an hour to where you could take a vacation. That'd be 6 more week-long vacations you could take in a year. Or think about if you want, for us, we could fit a whole job worth $30,000 to $50,000 or more, or multiple little jobs in almost a month and a half of time. If we could just save 1 hour every day for 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
I mean, think if you saved an hour every day, 7 days a week, every day. I think it'd be closer to a little over 7 weeks or almost 8 weeks of time that you would gain. And so these little principles have just, have really been hitting home to us in a clear way, even this week, is the importance of just small, consistent things, and do small little things, and don't, when your schedule gets derailed, your workout time gets pushed out of the way, or whatever happens, just do something small. Don't give up totally. Don't give up completely. Do something. And then repeat it again, and then start building upon that, and before you know it, you'll be back on track, or you'll build that momentum upwards.
Exactly.
That energy.
Yeah. Well, and for me, sometimes it's okay. So I got derailed. So don't just give up the whole day. Start now. All right. So I put the kids down for a nap. So just now do that one thing.
Yeah, I'm a master of okay, this week's screwed. So guess what? We're just going to live high in the hog the rest of the week, and we'll start again next week. Monday, we'll hit it again, right?
It's a waste.
And, or just, the next day, I'm just going to do it. And I'll tell you, you can waste so much time, and it never gets any easier.
Right.
The farther you put it off, the longer you put it off, it does not get any easier. And so, in fact, if you can learn to embrace it now when it feels the worst, then it's going to make it easier. Now, I'm preaching to the choir here. Hey, Michael, good to see you here tonight. Enjoyed seeing you at the gym tonight. Man, you saw Jesse was killing me with all that rope climbing. And
I heard quite the stories. I'm glad I was
rope climbing and pull-ups and dips and bench pressing, all that kind of fun stuff. And that was like killing me after missing a few days at the gym. And even though I was trying to do like one push-up and one pull-up at home, at least to do something.
He did good.
Now, I was doing some one pull-ups, but I was trying to do them very slow. Try doing one pull-up where you go, you're supposed to count to 60, start fully extended, and count to 60
to get up
all the way up. Keep it slow till you're like 60 seconds up, and then 60 seconds all the way back down. Oh my God, I wasn't able to do that yet. And stuff, but that's another challenge.
The challenge he took on.
That if you're gonna do one pull up, then make it hardcore.
Count.
Yeah, and stuff. So, anyways, but just think about that. Think about what's one area in your life that you can work on, trying to start working on, and before you know it, just like, 1 hour a day doesn't seem like a whole lot when you actually think about it. Think about if you instead of an hour lunch break, you took a 45-minute lunch break, or a half hour. That gives you another extra half hour. Or, whatever it is, that gained you 6.5 weeks of extra work time that you could add to your life that year. Mm-hmm. Think about the area of, like, for this little quote we had, think of it, say you have piles of debt. Think of paying, one extra payment or a couple extra dollars. Over a year's worth of time, you're going to see that compound. One thing I've learned in real estate investing is that the power of compounding interest. Mm-hmm. My God, I've been on the wrong end of compounding interest in so many deals that have taken too long, or, I'll tell you, when it starts eating up and working against you, it's a powerful force that can cause real havoc. And the challenge and what we're trying to do, especially in real estate investing, is to posture ourselves to where the power of compounding interest is working in our favor, is paying our loans down, the rent we're collecting. And so before we know it, we're getting less and less debt and more positive cash flow. And so the same thing like this, you have debt, start paying a little bit extra to it consistently before you know it. That's why I like the Dave Ramsey concept when it comes to paying credit cards down, is he talks about, pay the minimum on all your cards, and then the least amount, the smallest one, take all your extra money and hit that one's vengeance and get that one paid off. And it's like a domino effect. And before you know it, because that's going to be the quickest. It's going to help you build momentum. And then next thing you know it, you're going to have that, put a little extra, as much extra as you can. Next thing you know, it's going to be gone. And guess what? Then all the stuff that was going to that one, boom, gets bumped up to the next one. And before you know it, you're compounding in your favor. And so that happens in every area of your life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And another example here. Like for me, this year, our life, our word, our focus is on message. Our message, our story, our testimony. What's our contribution to the world? Someone were to come ask you to give a testimony or share a message, what would you say? So I've been thinking back over my life, and honestly, I've been completely overwhelmed. There's so much that's gone on. I a lot of times just sit there like days with a notebook with nothing on it. I'm trying to figure out, where do I start? It's like, so I just, like this morning, I just started and just thought of the first memory that came to mind. I started just writing down thoughts about it. Got a little ways, but guess what? I got a thought there. I got something written down. It's the beginning. At least I got something. Before you know it, I'm going to have a documented autobiography of Justin Enquist, and it's going to be awesome. You wait for this thing to be published. But it's an amazing story. I've had all kinds of crazy adventures and life experiences and highs and lows to kind of help develop to where I'm at now. And but it's taken me forever to come to the place of starting to document it, so you take time to focus on it. And because it's overwhelming. It's just so much. 39 years worth of data and information that I've got to sort through and figure out how to make sense of. And so you think about it. So what is something that's daunting to you? Mm-hmm. And let's just take one little baby step. And then take that little step consistently over and over and over. And you'll be shocked where you'll end up.
I can say for me, just a practical thing too. Sometimes I get overwhelmed thinking about phone calls that I need to make. That's a big one for me. It's hard to get over the fear of, okay, I kind of just psych myself up. But when I just decide, okay, let's just do one, and I do, say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I call one person or send one text, instead of thinking of all these people and all the multitude of things I need to do. And then, as soon as I send that first text or make that first phone call, it's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. And just, then sometimes it's the second one. And then it just gets the ball rolling. But it's that first one that once you do it, makes all the difference in the world. And even if that's the only one I got to, then I had a conversation with somebody instead of being, paralyzed by my fear or just overwhelmed with life. I mean, one text, that's not hard. One quick phone call, I can fit that in my day. So it is. It's crazy.
So anyway, that's our message. I did want to say one quick story. I had kind of a crazy experience, kind of give you a taste of my life and who I am. And Alicia and I have plenty more to say about this. But, I'm always like looking for deals and opportunities.
Last night, let's just say.
And so I have a realtor I work with, and she a lot of times sends me lists of foreclosures or off-market deals or whatever. And so I had this deal come across. It was like, boom, looked like an awesome opportunity, in the real estate world. And it's like a property for $27,000. I was like, what? And then I always like to fire off my realtor as far as, hey, give me what's the ARV, the after repair value, so I can see, she knows kind of work we do and how we fix them up. So
we have a great relationship.
And so basically, she always can let me know what it'd be worth if we came in and fixed it up. So, so it's $27,000 property, and I thought, well, that's pocket change, right? And we can always scrape up that in the real estate world with private money investors and all this kind of stuff with the network we have. And so I was like, it's worth a try. Let's pursue it. So she came back with an ARV of $168,000, and I was like, usually I like to make a little ball offer, or I'm like, trying to negotiate a little bit. And so for this one though, I was like firing away just through email. All this is through email. I'm like, quick, saw a link, forwarded it on, said, hey, what's the ARV? She sent it back, and so I was like, hey, let's do a full price offer. And I was like, what? Well, it was not last night, it was the night before, but it was late at night. That's when I do some of these crazy things. I guess I should learn by now. Anyways, so she's awesome, just as crazy as I am. And so she's like, well, no problem, I'll do it in the morning. Then like 10 minutes later, she's like, I already did it for you. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And so I was like, cool. So then the next day, yesterday, I get an email from her saying, hey, I think they're considering your offer. How soon can you close? I was like, God, 27,000?
Pull it together fast.
She said, can you close by the 25th? I was like, sure. And I said, well, why don't you push it to the 1st, April 1st if you can, So anyway, the funny thing was we got our offer accepted. We had a contract and everything. And so when they got DocuSign to me to sign, of course, thankfully I do glance at my contracts before I sign on them and stuff. And so next thing I knew, I was like looking at a ranch home for $70,000. And I was like, what? And I was like, what in the world? That was like 10:30 last night. And so I had to quit. I'm sorry, but I did. I called my realtor at 10:30 at night. And thankfully she was still up working. And I was like, what did I just make an offer on and get accepted at a full price offer? And she was like, what? And the funny thing was, I didn't see, but I had forwarded her the wrong email. She had sent me two, I didn't notice it. And the second one was for a house for $70,000 or $69,000, a brick ranch. And so she thought I was talking about that one. That was the ARV she gave me for that house. And so she made a full price offer, and it was like, what in the world? It was like shock for me. And so I was like, it reminded me, it's important to take action and to be ready to move on things and deals. But it also is important to pay attention to details, so you can make sure that you're on the same page, talking about the same property, the same house. So needless to say, I said, well, we've got to go tomorrow and look at this freaking place to see what I got myself into. So thankfully, we went and looked at it, and it's got a lot of potential. It still works in our formula, and it's going to be actually a good deal. It really is a good deal. And it's got a lot more potential and more opportunities to even make the ARV higher than what we originally thought. So it's going to turn out to be a really good deal. But it's one of those things, just a reminder to me to the devil's in the details. And take action, but be careful, pay attention to detail, and try to keep yourself out of some trouble and stuff. Alicia didn't know what she was getting involved with when she accepted my proposal. almost 11 years ago, right?
I was rehearsing last night the first time that should I tell them that story? My first
You get a taste of who I am.
Yeah, of who he really was. Because, I mean, you know, we know each other somewhat, but anyway. So, early married, and he's working on a slideshow for a Christmas program at our church. And his computer, it's late at night again. He always does.
I'm intense. When I'm on a project, I like to finish it and stay on it until I get it done.
We work till midnight.
Especially if there's a problem. It's a challenge I got to overcome. So it was like one of those nights where I was, electronics either great or they're awful. And this time it was awful.
All right, let me tell the story.
How do you get in the background?
So anyway, he's working on his computer, and he's getting frustrated, and his computer I think it just like completely quit. It just froze up. I mean, it was
I overwhelmed it.
And it was, starting to go out anyway. So he's like, that's it. I remember him closing it up, and he's like, that's it. We're living in Rocky Mount at the time. He's like, we're going to Roanoke, and we're going to Best Buy, and I'm buying a new computer.
It's like 30 miles away.
Honey, it's 11:30 at night. Like, no stores open. I think the next day was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he was just like, well, that's fine then. First thing tomorrow morning, we're going. And anyway, we did. We ended up buying a computer, but to show you what I came from, my dad is very, very frugal, very, if we asked him about something, it usually took a while to, get an answer. Like he thinks through, he would not ever place an offer on a house and get houses confused or something. Like he's just very methodical, very detailed, very, and so, decisions are like, he'll do all the research and everything else. So anyway, it was quite the, I married somebody very different. So anyway, he's continued to.
It's been an adventure, right?
It has. It's great.
Thank God, we've had
so now I kind of expect it,
Never a dull moment around here.
That's right. You never know what's going to happen at 11.
But I am learning. There is some virtue to, slowing down, paying attention to details a little bit. There's a place for that and stuff. But, God, when there's a good deal, you got to jump on it and go.
Exactly.
Take action.
And there are times that you miss out if we don't.
Yeah.
So.
And I missed out on plenty.
Very much appreciate
and I've gotten some deals, some good ones, and some learning experiences.
That's right.
And stuff. But anyways, we're not going to carry on here tonight, but we just wanted to kind of help encourage you and give you some pointers of we've been doing, what works for us when our life and week and schedule gets derailed. Mm-hmm. And when you feel like quitting or just starting again next week, or you never feel like you can get started the way you were, just start with one. One. Right?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being a part. Good to see you, Whitney, watching. Hope y'all are doing good. And everyone have a good night, have a good week. And if you wouldn't mind sharing some of these so we can get more people involved in our conversations. And we love your comments and any feedback and any questions or topics of interest you think would be good you'd like to talk about. We're open to discussing it. We're right in the trenches with everyone else, trying to figure this thing out with 4 kids and 4 businesses. I'm in the process of trying to make my life a little less complicated with having one landing page for everything. And that's coming. I'm not going to spill the beans yet. I'm hoping within a week or so they'll share a new way to connect with me. That's going to make things a lot less complicated. Because when you're trying to, go to network meeting or talk to people and they're like, what do you do? Let's see.
Which business card do you want?
Let's see, real estate. Do you want coaching or young living, or do you want to have real estate design, construction? So, anyways, it makes life very full, very fun, and never a dull moment.
That's right.
All right. Well, have a good night, and look forward to keeping in touch. Go do one thing before you go to bed. All right.
Good night.